People were really supportive.
I've never done anything like it before.
Everyone is an artist.
I'm write many time poem when I was in Iran and in my language, not English.
If you write from your heart, it will come true. And you don't need fancy words.
I love books.
A story in a poem is a project bringing diverse communities, migrants, non-migrants from Scotland together to create poems.
My name's Anastasia. I was born in London, but I've grown up mostly in Glasgow.
My name is Hadi. I'm from Iran. I came here 11 months ago.
My name's Abigail Wilson.
Hi, I'm Jared Tinker. I'm from Australia, Sydney.
As soon as we went north past Newcastle, we're like, this is it. This is where we have to live.
Here you can write a poem and some person help you.
I like the idea of being creative and eloquent with the words and the feelings and emotions that I was feeling.
The first thing about it was that we would meet people who live in the area, that we would learn a lot more about migration and asylum seekers and refugees. And it was just a bonus that we'd learn how to write poems and talk about home and migration.
So each session we did something different. You know, we had music practitioners and writers, maybe drawing.
Always you don't know what's happened, and I think more excited because you learn another style for writing, another thing about how to write.
Well, I'm Denise Mina, I'm a writer. Tonight we're going to talk about diversity and hopes for the future and how difficult it is to feel yourself to be the outsider after having been the mainstream.
I thought I would give you these sheets.
If fiction is about telling stories about human lives, we haven't heard from 80% of the world because we really only hear the same story over and over and over again. If you think about a story about an asylum seeker who comes into the system and finds out it's not fair, we all know that's true. If you find out about a Home Office employee who comes into the system and finds out it's not fair, that's more interesting. People are going to read that because there's a conflict there immediately.
Poetry is a wonderful tool and a way to express your feelings, emotions.
Understanding comes from a place inside us which isn't tangible. So I think it's a perfect way for people to learn English as well as building a connection with all of the other people in the room.
In the workshops, you know, when we talk about food, language or home, everyone's got different experiences. So when we share it together, you know, people just automatically connect.
Now my stress is better like the first time because you don't speak English, you don't have any friend. Oh my God.
My name is Marzanna Antonia. The theme of today's workshop is my Glasgow journey. And hopefully looking at a scrap of a map, they'll be able to tell a story.
I sat on a bench and there were some birds at the bottom of the monument. I watched them for a bit and then they all flew together a few times round the monument and perched on the top. I was feeling lost, not sure which direction my life was taking. The birds gave me hope, the way they all flew in unison.
It's so few words, and this is what makes poetry strong.
I think it was nice experiencing Glasgow with other people who weren't born here or haven't been here for as long, because you can be like, oh yeah, I love this part of Glasgow, you know.
Some people don't have perfect English, so that's why I thought we could do some shared poems.
Everyone's kind of restrained a little bit because they don't really know too much about poetry. Marzanna kind of got through that and we could all work together on something.
I think poetry is for everybody. It's just some people think it's very stiff and old-fashioned, maybe not for them, but there are so many forms of poetry. You could have spoken word, you could have concrete poetry, you could have it very, very visual.
My name is Tawana Stolle, I'm a poet. My goal when I gave out the instrument was to just let people experiment and try them out.
I felt like it was more of an active session, everyone got involved.
If you can move, you can dance. If you can talk, you can sing. Just go for it. Everyone's probably just as nervous. Sounds are so important because sounds bring back memories for us.
Very organic. It was all an impro, like.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the diversity of the classes.
I actually really enjoyed the ones which were kind of more fun.
I wouldn't do or think a particular type of way, and I was guided there, and that produced different types of work.
They build up their confidence. They've learned how to structure their poems or how to structure their words.
Creative work helps communities because when we get together, then we get to enrich each other.
If you're new in a place, you might need to take time to re-establish yourself, to find yourself.
It was a little bit scary at first because it was so private as well, but I took that fear of that and presented it to myself more as a challenge.
You must share your poem because, for example, like light, when you turn on the light, you turn on give the light to everywhere, and you see. If you write your poem and put in your pocket, like you not write anything.
And that's exactly what this sort of group does, is it gives people a voice and it gives them a forum and it lets them understand that their language and their stories are really interesting, and people would love to know them, and sometimes you just have to elbow people out the way and make space for them.
There's no story without the listener.
We are recording some of the stories in a podcast format so that people across the community can hear them online.
اطاعت بایدم کردن چو با نام تو گیرم جان.
I felt like we were a big family because we all shared our very personal stories.
Classes like this target deep understanding, so I think there should be more.
Yeah.
I have a lot of fun, so I can't forget that one.